A lot of people are pretty good at keeping a conversation going, but they struggle to start conversations. 2.5 years ago, I moved to Los Angeles and I didn't really know too many people here. So I had to learn how to meet new people. Growing up through school, college, work, I always had like a social group around me, but it was never me having to like really put myself out there to make those friends. It was kind of like the people around me I kind of chose from that group, right? But when you move to a new city or you're trying to like just make new friends outside of your social group, or you feel like, you want to meet new people, go on dates, this kind of stuff, learning how to meet people is such a valuable skill. And in order to do that, you have to be able to start conversations, right? I mean, people can start conversations with you, but it's much better to be someone who's capable of initiating a conversation, because a lot of times you have to go first. A lot of times people they want to talk to other people, but they're not willing to start the conversation. So it's really helpful to have those skills, right? And based on hundreds of new conversations that I had in LA, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing. And like, this is the easiest way to start a conversation. I figured it out into an acronym that is pretty easy to remember. So the acronym is CHAT. So you comment on what's around you, you highlight something about yourself, you assess if the other person's interested, because sometimes people don't want to talk to you and that's completely okay. But if it seems like they do want to talk to you, you move on to T, which is toss it back to the other person by asking a question. So using that chat framework, let's say you're at a coffee shop, you sit down next to someone, you want to start a conversation. You could be like, oh, wow, I heard this place has the best cold brew. So you're commenting on something that's relevant to both of you in the moment, right? Then you highlight something about yourself. You could be like, I usually work from home, but I try new coffee shops and like this is my first time here. Obviously, don't lie here. Lying will make it worse. And then based on their body language or how they respond to you bringing this up, you can determine whether or not they want to talk to you. Because, sometimes people will like put their headphones in and they'll like nod their head. They probably don't want to talk to you. But if they open up to you and they're like, yeah, I actually love this coffee shop, I come here all the time, then maybe they want to start a conversation with you, right? And if it seems like they want to talk to you, you move on to T, which is tossing it back to them by asking a question. So you could just be like, what's your go-to order here? Just like that, you started the conversation. They know something about you. You'll learn something about them. And then you can keep the conversation flowing from there. And the best way to do that is just to ask open-ended questions. So it's a really simple way to start a conversation naturally. It's not like you're sharing too much either. It's not like you're going up to them and being like, oh my God, I don't have any friends. Can you please be my friend? Or if it's someone you're attracted to, you're not like, oh my God, you're the love of my life. Like it's just like a normal small talk conversation to get to know someone. I'm sure you've seen this with like the Riz accounts on like social media. They just like randomly approach 100 people like with pickup lines. It's like, this is not the way to like talk to people. It's much better to just have good communication skills to be able to talk to anyone, because one, yeah, you can get dates out of it. Yeah, for sure. But you can also get to know people and like learn things from people just by having the skills of starting conversations. Also, like, dude, what are you gonna like do pickup lines for the rest of your life? Like when you're married? No, like you just need the skills of just starting conversations with people, because this way you can network, help you in so many different areas of your life, including dating. So now you have a way to do it, but there's always a risk of rejection, right? And the way to get over that is one, by practice, and then two, like visualizing it going well in your head. Like visualize the other person like laughing at your jokes or like smiling at you. And if it doesn't happen, then you're like, okay, I learned that I didn't die. Like it wasn't that bad. Even if people don't want to talk to you, which has happened to me like plenty of times, where I started a conversation with someone and they're like, and they kind of give me a weird look, or they just don't acknowledge me at all. And I'm like, okay, this person doesn't want to talk to me. It's like, that's completely okay. They're completely entitled to like not have a conversation with anyone. So I'm just like, oh, okay. It has nothing to do with me. They just didn't want to talk to a person at that time. But once you realize that fear is overstated in your mind and that some people don't want to have a conversation with you, and that's completely okay, and it doesn't hurt that bad. I mean, you feel like a little bit upset, but it's like it's not that big of a deal, right? Especially if you have the mindset that you're not entitled to anything. And then once you have really meaningful conversations with new people, you realize that it's worth the risk of rejection, right? Because something that's so great can only happen with some sort of risk. Like everything that you want in life has some sort of risk. Making YouTube videos, there's a risk that this video doesn't really get any views. And like I put time and effort into this, but that's okay because it could really help one person. And if it helps one person, then it's worth it. There's always going to be a risk with anything you want in life, but a lot of things are worth taking the risk, and starting conversations with new people, or at least developing the skills, 100% worth the risk. Hope this video is helpful. And if you're having any trouble like starting conversations, I have a free first coaching session with the link in the description. And listen, I'm not saying that putting yourself out there is ever easy, but I am saying that it will be worth it. Life's not easy, but it's worth it. Take care.